You can never only know for sure that which you can see or feel. Anything else could be falsified. Anything else could be wrong. Why would you even need to know things that you cannot detect with your own senses? Nature already gave you all the tools necessary for life. If we cannot detect it with our own senses, it is clearly not our business. In nature, there is never a situation in which you need to believe something that you cannot observe yourself. When somebody tells you something about the world that you've never experienced, you may play around with the idea that what they're saying might be true. You might trust it, but you can never believe it. Never believe anything. Faith is the core reason behind all of the ills of the modern world. When you accept medicine without any real way of knowing for sure that it helps you, you are putting just as much faith into it as any religious person puts into their religion. When you do anything that you do not feel is right, that feels tiresome or painful for you, but you do it because some authority has convinced you that it's good for you, then you are simply a religious believer. Whether you are a Christian, a vegan, or just an average person eating a standard Western diet, accepting any medicine that the doctors give them, and just living as they are told to live, and accepting whatever authority tells them. Don't trust anybody telling you what healthy food is, or what the purpose of the universe is, or what you should do with your life. Just look at nature, look within yourself, and do what feels right to you. That is the only way, the only path to follow. Everything else is faith-based madness. Just think for a second how much of what you know is based on what you have been told. How much of your worldview, of your ideas, are based on things that you have no way of observing yourself with your own senses. The only way to get to know the world is to simply go out there, see and feel things. That is the only way. Everything that people tell you, either scientists or authority or the news or anybody else, anybody at all, there is no reason to blindly believe it. People nowadays base their whole lives upon what they are being told. I wasn't much different not so long ago. But ultimately doing that is pure madness. Back in the day it was priests that defined people's lives and told people how they should live and what they should do. Nowadays it's scientists. And scientists have greater authority than priests because they at least claim that everything that they say is based on reality and empirical evidence. And people are more likely to believe somebody like that than a priest, especially nowadays. However, there is no way to know for sure if they are liars or not, or if they are simply mistaken. A couple of years ago, doctors were still chopping out tonsils, claiming that they are completely useless, simply because they didn't know the reason behind their existence. And nowadays still, many doctors flay infants alive, stealing their skin to fuel a medical industry of skin transplants, and explaining themselves, justifying themselves with some bullshit science that is just not real at all. It goes against all of our senses, and yet slaves still do it, and they believe that it's good simply because they are told that it's good, and they will believe anything because they are slaves. In the minds of modern people, what they are told takes priority over their own innate senses. They do not realize that nature already gave you everything that you need in order to understand reality. You may look at science and see some things that makes sense because they are connected to reality very closely. For example, it makes complete sense that there are microorganisms out there so small that we cannot even see them with our own eyes, because in the nature you see living beings both very big and very small, so tiny that you can barely see them. So it doesn't go beyond the realm of possibility that there are creatures so small that you simply cannot see them. It makes sense that our bodies are made out of cells, because when you look at the surface of your skin, you can see those tiny little squares that contain other tiny squares within them, and those ones contain even tinier squares within them, until you can't see anymore. It's too much strain for your eyes. And it is logical to think that it has to stop somewhere, at a basic, simple cell. To give one more example, let's look at evolution. Evolution to me personally makes a lot of sense, because when you look at nature, you can see all the different steps of evolution within species. You can see fish, and then after fish you can see weirdo fish that can sort of crawl on land and breathe air. And after that you can see amphibians, and after amphibians you see reptiles and mammals, which technically didn't evolve from reptiles, but from a reptile-like creature, and so on and so forth. You can see it. Other than that, there are also dog breeds and cat breeds created in a process of human-controlled evolution. Because what? Do you believe that pugs were created by God? Maybe by Satan, but definitely not God. But even though it makes sense to me, at the end of the day I can't really know for sure that it's real. After all, I've never seen fish walk on land with my own eyes. I've only ever seen it through a TV screen, and that could be CGI or whatever done for whatever purpose. And even if I did see fish walk on land with my own eyes, and saw all those steps of evolution in the species, that indicates evolution, but it does not confirm it completely. And who knows, maybe dog breeds aren't created by forced evolution, but by evil genetic sorcery, or something like that. Whatever, what is in the mainstream seems the most likely to me in this case, this particular case, but as far as I know, it could be wrong. As far as I know, I could be in my own Truman Show and everything that I've ever been told is a complete lie. In the end of the day, I cannot observe something like evolution with my own senses. I could look at microevolution, but then I wouldn't be using my own senses, would I? I would be using man-made equipment that could very much be lying to me. I can't really know that cells are real or bacteria are real because I cannot see them with my own senses. It makes sense for all those things to be real, but they don't have to be real. It could be that I'm wrong. As far as I, as a biological, natural being, am concerned, diseases could as well be caused by toxins, and bacteria could be the tools of the body to get rid of toxins. Or diseases could be caused by evil spirits from the 11th dimension or whatever. It really doesn't matter, because nature has not equipped me with the tools to observe that, which means that I shouldn't be concerned with it. It does not concern me. The only way for me to even find out that something like bacteria exists is to be told that, or to observe that through a man-made microscope or other man-made construct, which could be lying. I cannot know for sure. And I need to stress this, because the internet is full of idiots. I am not saying that bacteria aren't real. I'm also not saying that they are real. I think that they are real. I find it very likely that they are real. But at the end of the day, we cannot know for sure. We cannot observe it, so it does not concern us. And it is just the same with the shape of the world or the entirety of history. Anything that you are told, anything that you cannot observe yourself. After listening to what I had to say in this video, some people could accuse me of being an atheist or a relativist or something like that. And I am not. Deep within me, I feel the soul of the world, and I know evil when I see it. It is not something that I believe in, it is something that I feel, something that I am, and nobody has to tell me about those things. If what I feel and know deep within me is incorrect, that doesn't matter, because it is simply my nature, and you cannot fight your own nature. It is what you are. People nowadays live in boxes. Little man-made apartments, and they only ever go out to go shopping in a supermarket or to work. They don't bother observing reality with their own senses. They just take what they are told as truth, because they are blind slaves. Go outside and look upon the world and forget everything that you were told ever by anybody, and just take it as it is. Look at the stars as they are, tiny spots of light, and you can't really know anything more about them. Look at everything in this way. Do not live in a box. Do not be a blind follower of religion. Just be yourself. Turn to nature. Look within yourself. You've got everything that you need. And that is that.